It is my pleasure to introduce the following presentation to you that aims at giving you an overview of existing resources for shelters developed by several of our ICAM coalition members. These resources, from websites to online and in-person trainings and conferences, aim to support the work of shelters and rehoming centers around the world so that you can prevent animals from entering your facilities, take even better care of the dogs and cats while at your shelter, and get them into responsible homes quicker. We hope the overview helps you find the best training for you and your staff and supports in improving your daily workflows.
Hello, my name is Yvette Vasileva and I'm a Community Engagement Coordinator for Four Paws International. Today I'm going to briefly present to you our shelter resources. First, let's focus on what the role of shelters actually is. Four Paws believes that shelters should only provide a temporary solution and a temporary home for dogs and cats prior to their adoption locally, and should not be used to house animals long term. Our aim is to turn shelters into adoption centers with increased adoption rates. To do this, we started by conducting a pilot project in Vinnytsia, Ukraine. We started with a municipal shelter, which we chose based on some of the challenges that they were facing. One of their biggest challenges was the low adoption rate. So they had approximately around five dogs per month that they were able to adopt. They did, however, have quite a high intake rate with about 70 dogs per month. Here we should note that they also operated a CMBR service, so not all of the dogs were staying in the shelter long term. The capacity of the shelter was about 250 dogs, and they also had quite a high staff turnover and a lack of volunteers. They didn't have a training program for their staff or for their volunteers. They also didn't have any type of training for the dogs in their care. They suffered from a lack of protocols and a lack of routines, which of course increased the stress for the animals in the shelter and their conditions. They also had a low visitors rate due to almost non-existent promotion, and we also saw that the use of the facilities wasn't very effective. So all of this, apart from self-report from the shelter, of course, was confirmed with a shelter assessment, which we conducted prior to beginning the pilot. So based on our assessment, we decided on four main strategic objectives. So the first one was to prepare the dogs for adoption. The second one was to provide training for the staff. The third one was to develop effective shelter and dog promotion. And the final one was to improve the adoption areas and the adoption processes. At the end of the pilot, we were able to improve, firstly, the infrastructure of the shelter by providing a kennel heating system, as the shelter didn't have one previously. And as you can imagine, the winters in Ukraine could be quite cold. We also provided a separate adoption room with the hope that actually this could serve quite well for the staff to be able to match potential adopters to the right dogs in the right environment. We improved shelter staff skills and knowledge by providing on-site training, which focused on dog behavior, socialization, training, body language, and also starting by emphasizing the basic dog needs and basic animal welfare principles. The training was delivered by experts as well. We improved the husbandry and healthcare by helping the shelter develop best practice protocols, checklists, and templates so that they could establish regular routines, which not only improve the running of the shelter, but also improve the quality of life in the shelter. We helped the shelter improve their visibility and the perception within the community. We did this through targeted ads campaign, which was based on a sociological study, which we conducted as part of the pilot with the community of Vinnytsia. We also helped the shelter establish connection with a local TV channel, which started having like a local media feature about the shelter. Finally, we help the shelter define their roles and responsibility, which optimized how and what the shelter staff did and provided clarity for everyone. Overall, we completed the pilot with a 70% increase of adoptions in 2 years. From the pilot, we developed the Four Paws Shelter Adoption Program. It spans several areas. So we started with the Shelter Adoption Academy, which is an online course which was designed to help shelters improve their adoption rate. This was launched in November 2022. Then we are planning to deliver shelter adoption campaigns either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, with the hope to further support shelters. Finally, we will be providing shelter adoption training, which, however, is specifically available for our community engagement projects. And we do hope that we can have other initiatives that can follow on. Regarding the Shelter Adoption Academy course, what our main objectives were when we decided to launch the course, we focus mainly on increasing local adoption rates in shelters by rolling out the course, which was applicable worldwide. We provide and train shelter staff in adoption best practice, how to create an adoption culture among local communities and positive attitudes towards shelter animals, and improve the quality of life for shelter animals. Overall, what we are aiming to do with the Shelter Adoption Academy is to transform shelters into adoption centers. Now I'm going to play you a brief video which focuses on the content and the modules of the Shelter Adoption Academy course.
Is your shelter overcrowded? Is it a challenge to maintain the physical and mental health of your dogs? Have your dogs been waiting a long time for adoption? If you have any or all of these challenges, the new Four Paws e-learning course is for you. The course will help you overcome the common problems shelters face: overcrowded facilities, too few adoptions, lack of resources and training. Dogs come to shelters in various ways. The journey of a roaming or stray dog often starts on the streets, where local authorities may pick them up and deliver them to your shelter as part of a stray dog management strategy. Do you know how to help dogs adjust to shelter life? Can you meet their needs? In the first 4 modules of the Four Paws course, you'll learn the fundamentals of animal welfare and meeting the physical and psychological needs of dogs. A veterinary health check should be the first stop for dogs brought into your shelter. On arrival, each dog should be dewormed, vaccinated, microchipped, and scheduled for neutering. It's also important for shelter staff to complete a thorough admissions process. Keeping detailed records about each dog is a crucial step towards rehoming. Shelter staff and volunteers play a huge role in helping dogs adjust to life in the kennels. Are your dogs getting enough attention and exercise? Do they have comfy bedding and toys? Are you providing enough fresh water and healthy meals? All contribute to a positive shelter experience. The second half of the course is focused on preparing your shelter for adoption success, including basic dog training, behavioural assessment, and promoting dogs in your care for rehoming. Get guidance on adoption-friendly procedures and facilities, and strategies to help your dogs find the right home. With the help of Four Paws training, the journey of shelter dogs will have a happy ending. Their stay with you will be positive but temporary. Just a stop on the way to a responsible, loving forever home. Your shelter is only a few clicks away from a wealth of knowledge and resources from the experts at Four Paws. Learn more and register for the free course at fourpaws.org/shelter adoption programme.
The course is entirely free and it's self-paced. It should take about 10 hours to complete. It is also compatible with computers, laptops, phones, tablets, so you can really do it on any device that you have. It is currently available in English, Ukrainian, Bulgarian, and Romanian. We are soon going to be launching in Thai, and we are preparing more languages as well. We're also planning to develop a few more modules as part of the course. So, for example, on fostering and on fundraising for shelters. And we are hoping to be able to create a whole new course, which will be dedicated to cats only. And that should happen in 2024. Upon completion, our users receive a certificate of completion, an adoption success kit, which comprises of all of the additional materials that we provide as part of the course, and also about 100 promotional leaflets. The last two things are only available upon request. And finally, we already have an international community of over 200 users from about 40 countries worldwide. So if you're interested in becoming a part of our international community, you can find a link to the course at the end of this presentation and sign up for it. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Craig Rooney and I am the International Programme Manager at Dogs Trust Worldwide. And today I'm going to give a short presentation on the resources Dogs Trust can provide to help shelters to improve their infrastructure, their day-to-day operations, and ultimately the lives and welfare of the dogs under their care. So there are 5 key areas where Dogs Trust Worldwide are able to provide help to shelters. We're able to provide support through our Champions Fund, which is a small grants programme, our online international training programme, our annual International Companion Animal Welfare Conference, through the delivery of dog training and behaviour workshops at shelters overseas, as well as ongoing mentoring and training to partner organisations overseas. Our Champions Fund consists of 2 small grants programmes, a European Champions Fund in partnership with Purina, which is open to registered NGOs and charities in Europe, while we also run a separate Worldwide Champions Fund, which is open to registered NGOs and charities in the rest of the world. We hold 1 grants round a year in June, July for both programmes. So our current grants round is open, with the closing date for applications being Monday the 3rd of July. So if you are interested in finding out more or applying for funding, you can visit our website. Please see the link at the bottom of the slide there to take you to that specific web page. We will provide grants of up to £10,000 to support improvements to shelter infrastructure, such as kennel refurbishment, for example, or perhaps construction of an adoption room or an exercise area. The purchase of any equipment which will improve the running of the shelter and the lives of the dogs. More specifically, we will also support the purchase or creation of enrichment materials or equipment, or support projects which will create enrichment opportunities for dogs. While we also support applications aimed at improving local rehoming and fostering programmes. An example of what we can fund can be seen in the photo on the slide here, where we provided a grant last year to an organisation in Zambia to enable them to have access to a reliable and clean water source at their shelter. Just one example of what we can support through our Champions Fund. We also run an international training programme twice a year, 1 programme for European organisations, again in partnership with Purina, and a second worldwide programme which is tailored to the needs of organisations based outside of Europe. The training programme is delivered twice a year in March and September. The European training programme is delivered over a period of 1 week, while the worldwide programme is delivered over 2 weeks. The programme is delivered to around 15 to 20 delegates via a series of presentations by expert speakers. The group of delegates is quite small and personal, which allows for a good amount of discussion, the chance to network with other professionals and to share experiences with other animal welfare organisations. A wide range of topics are covered, but shelter operations and management are well represented, with presentations being delivered on topics such as managing the rehoming process, fostering, shelter design and construction, establishing special operating procedures for shelters, dog training and behaviour, volunteer management, and many more. Again, at the bottom of the slide, you'll find a link to the specific web page on our website for our international training program. The International Companion Animal Welfare Conference, known as ICOC, brings together experts from around the world to discuss companion animal welfare and provide a platform where hundreds of delegates can exchange knowledge, gain support, and ultimately be inspired to continue to help companion animals. The first ICOC delivered by Dogs Trust took place in Budapest in 1996, and it's been held annually in a different European city for the vast majority of years since that first conference. The conference generally welcomes between 200 to 300 delegates each year, with the 22nd ICOC, which was held last year in Bulgaria, welcoming 252 delegates from 121 organizations and 36 countries. Workshops and presentations are delivered over 3 days and designed to share knowledge and expertise on shelter management and animal welfare, organizational operations, and to explore global perspectives of the animal welfare sector. Previous presentation topics, which would be of interest to organizations with shelters, have covered fostering and rehoming, training and behavior, shelter enrichment, tackling disease in shelters, shelter design, lobbying and legislation, and volunteer engagement. The 23rd ICOC will be held this year in Nicosia in Cyprus between the 3rd and 5th of October. Registration is now open, and with the conference heavily subsidised, the registration fee is very reasonable at €70 or €140, depending on the size of your organisation. If you are interested in attending, there is a link to our website again at the bottom of the slide. Dogs Trust Worldwide can also deliver bespoke workshops on dog training and behaviour, which last between 2 to 4 days. These are delivered by expert members of the Training and the Behaviour Department at Dogs Trust on location at shelters overseas. The workshops can be delivered to only a small number of delegates or up to 30 delegates from a number of local shelters. The workshops focus on theory as well as practical demonstrations and aim to equip delegates with the skills and knowledge required to implement behaviour, training and enrichment programmes for dogs at their shelters to help improve the welfare of the dogs and increase rehoming rates. Potential topics which can be covered include ABCs of behaviour and how dogs learn, early identification of behavioural and medical concerns, handling reactive dogs, confidence building of nervous dogs, socialization, habituation, and the importance of early learning, equipment and its use and limitations, the importance of environmental enrichment, and improving adoption through training. These are only some of the topics that are covered, and the workshops can be designed to suit the learning requirements of the delegates. We always aim to deliver one of these workshops in the month leading up to ICOC, so we'll be holding a workshop in Cyprus in September this year for local Cypriot organisations, in case there are any watching today. Historically, these workshops were delivered all around the world, but unfortunately, we're currently only able to offer them to partner organisations in the key strategic locations where Dogs Trust Worldwide are currently working, which is Bulgaria, Serbia, Thailand, India, and Sri Lanka. Dogs Trust Worldwide is also able to provide training and mentoring to partner organisations by Dogs Trust staff or external consultants. This training would normally be delivered at your shelter or organisation over a week or two, and also involve ongoing mentoring and follow-up training where required. We are able to potentially offer veterinary training, particularly veterinary nursing skills if you have a clinic at your shelter, for instance, as well as training and mentoring in shelter management and the everyday operations and care of the dogs in your shelter. We're also able to provide staff from our training and behaviour team to work with your staff at your shelter to increase their skills and knowledge of dog training and behaviour, while we're also able to arrange training in dog catching as well if that is a part of your shelter operations. Finally, we are also able to provide support and help with shelter and kennel design if you need to renovate or refurbish your shelter. Unfortunately, as with the behaviour workshops, this kind of training and mentoring is only open to organisations in our key strategic locations of Bulgaria, Serbia, India, Thailand, and Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for listening to this short presentation. If you are interested in finding out more about our resources for shelters, please do visit our website, or you can email us at the email address on the slide.
Hello, my name is Vicky Halls and I am head of Unowned Cats for International Cat Care. We're also known as iCatCare. We are a UK-based charity that provides education and best practice information and guidelines for anyone interested in or having contact with cats. We have resources that would be relevant for anyone: cat owners, breeders, groomers, cat sitters, boarding catteries and pet shops, behaviourists, veterinarians, veterinary nurses and technicians, and of course, staff and volunteers that work with and for unowned cats. We disseminate all this information via an extensive website, also via conferences, webinars, courses, published guidelines, JFMS, that's the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery, which is our scientific journal, and also via social media. Just to give you a quick overview of what we offer in the way of support for shelters, we have a whole section on our website for people working in cat population management and in shelters or foster networks that includes information on cat-friendly homing. This is an iCatCare initiative which describes a way of working that focuses on a cat's journey through a homing organisation's intake process, the care the cat receives and its eventual outcome, to ensure that each cat's individual needs are met. This potentially enables staff and volunteers to work more efficiently in a less stressful environment, which allows cats to move through quicker, thereby reducing length of stay, increasing positive outcomes, and increasing the number of cats that can be helped in the long term. We also have free downloadable resources, guidelines, and decision-making documents, online courses and conferences and events, specifically for those working with and for unowned cats. We also have our veterinary division, ISFM, which is the International Society of Feline Medicine. ISFM has a large part of our website where there are extensive resources for the whole veterinary team, including relevant information for shelter veterinarians and those working in partnership with shelters. These resources include cat care and veterinary guidelines, online courses and webinars, free to download posters, vet and nurse membership, feline congress, conferences and events, and our cat-friendly clinic certification program. It's also important for everyone working in shelters to really understand the species. So we have extensive cat care advice and guides, online courses, and more posters and free downloads to ensure that you have everything you need to care for cats well. Let me now take you through a more detailed look at the unowned cat section of our website. iCatCare developed cat-friendly solutions for unowned cats over more than a decade of research and planning, and we launched a brand new part of our website in 2020 devoted to unowned cats. It supports those working on the front line with unowned cats, whether they are feral, street, community, or pet cats, with information and guidance all in one place on the website. The content has been sourced internally from subject matter experts working within the charity, but also from other organisations and experts throughout the world that have produced resources or information that we felt would be of benefit to those visiting our website. We have 4 main sections, focusing on the diversity that exists within the species and the need to understand that diversity to give them all the individual care they need. We have a whole section on cat-friendly homing, and one on cat population management of street and feral cats, including TNR. Sometimes with this work, it is so difficult to allocate time to structured learning. Many people remark they would like to do courses, but just don't have the time. With this in mind, we have a free website-based multiple choice question course to test knowledge on topics such as the different lifestyle of cats, cat population management, and cat-friendly homing. And this is done through engaging stories about 3 individual cats. This has proved an easy introduction to many for online learning, often encouraging them to go on and do other online courses with us. We also provide an exciting 20-week online coaching course called Becoming a Cat-Friendly Homing Centre Programme, which is open to any individual or organisation, whether they have a physical shelter or rely on a foster network. This takes the principles of cat-friendly homing and allows organisations to change in real time, to set their own goals and work towards achieving those goals to become cat-friendly. It also allows them to work with specific cats in their care and see how cat-friendly homing in action impacts positively on the lives of real cats to reinforce their learning. Each participant is allocated a personal coach who tailors the activities to suit their specific needs. We also can provide bursaries for organisations to take part at no cost, and the programme is available internationally to anyone to take part, limited currently to English speaking only. As part of our commitment to pragmatic and realistic and relevant information, given the countless challenges that are faced in many parts of the world, iCatCare has produced a series of 3 decision-making documents. The first is Managing Cat Populations, based on an understanding of cat lifestyle and population dynamics. The second is Outcomes for Kittens Born to Free-Roaming Unowned Cats. And the third is Identifying Solutions for In-Betweener Cats. Now, this is a phrase that was coined by iCatCare to describe those cats who have lived previously as pets, but not successfully. They're uncomfortable, and really another pet home is not the answer for them. So what they need is an alternative lifestyle, not as a street cat and not as a conventional pet. These documents can be found on the Unowned Cat landing page. They help people to navigate through the complex decisions that need to be made on a daily basis, not by telling them what to do, but by suggesting those things that need to be considered and providing relevant information to assist them in making those decisions. These are available in free download PDFs and also in a form of short animated videos. These are in a nutshell versions for those who feel they are too time limited to read full-length documents. We also have a free bi-monthly newsletter where we provide information and also showcase the work of individuals and organisations around the world. When working with cats in a pressurised environment like a shelter or in the field doing trap neuter return, it's often easy to lose sight of the species we're caring for. iCatCare provides extensive cat care advice covering a broad range of topics, including general care, health, behaviour, handling, and many more. We also have some specific cat care guides. Visiting the vet, inappetence, and acute pain are just 3 of them that may be useful to people working with unowned cats. And we also have courses on health and behaviour, which would undoubtedly be incredibly valuable to anyone working in the sector. And finally, for shelter veterinarians and those working in partnership with shelters, we have ISFM, our veterinary division, where the benefits and resources are extensive. Here is just a taste of the videos, handouts, and guidelines that are on offer. That was a very quick tour, but we would love you to visit our website and find out more about iCatCare and about cats.
Hello everyone, my name is Paul Marvell and I'm Director of Global Programmes at Battersea Dogs and Cats Homes in London, and great to be here to be able to present to you our global resources for shelters. And I really hope there's something here that interests you over the next 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to be covering 2 areas. Firstly, our Battersea Academy, and secondly, our grants and programs. So I'm going to kick off with the Battersea Academy, which we were really proud to launch back in 2018. And since we launched that, to the great demand of organisations who were telling us that they really needed to be able to access free or very low-cost training that was tailored directly for the animal welfare sector. We've had 300 or so organisations from an amazing 47 different countries around the world attend our programmes, and between those people who've attended, many thousands of dogs and cats have benefited. So the more detail about the Battersea Academy than I can possibly provide in this presentation is available on our website, and I provide the links to that later on. So just aiming to give you a flavour of what we do. So the reason that we set up the Battersea Academy was to enable every rescue to do the best with what they have. And we recognise that there's a huge variety of sizes and scales of organisations, organisations who may have not been established long, those who've been around for many, many years, and a varying range of facilities and resources that organisations have at their disposal. But we think that the training that we offer to those organisations who attend our training courses, they can take that learning back and apply it in their local sector. We also want to provide a central go-to place for low or no cost professional development, recognizing that most organizations in our sector have a small or non-existent budget for training. And we want to provide professional development and training for staff and volunteers working in dog and cat rescues, and also to provide best practice and the latest thinking, cutting edge, evidence-based expertise in all aspects of shelter management and other areas of work that charities are in. And finally, to build an open network of rescues to exemplify the strength that comes from working together, because we know that organisations working with others are far stronger than those that work on their own. So that's why the Academy is here. Our offer to you as dog and cat rescues is to provide professional development for staff and volunteers that work or volunteer in rescue anywhere in the world, and that's anywhere. We will welcome people from all countries around the world to attend our training, and we provide courses in animal behaviour and welfare in the dog or cat rescue setting, focusing in particular but not exclusively on shelter management and all aspects of that. But we also provide organisational courses on governance, fundraising in its many guises, marketing, mental health and safeguarding, and those sort of issues that are really important within our sector that we know people will want and benefit from. And we're shifting as much as we possibly can online, because we know that face-to-face learning isn't for everyone. It's not convenient, accessible, or affordable for many. So what we do is provide as much of our content online as possible so that people can study in a much more flexible way and through bite-sized modules. Another thing we do is we really want to help you, almost acting as your learning and development consultants or specialists, because we know that most organizations are too small to have that function. So we aim to be your own in-house experts on L&D, and we can help you map the skills gaps within your organizations against our own courses. And where we're not providing something, we'll signpost you to another organization resource that is providing that content. We've always been very proud of the fact that our training is free to any organisation whose annual turnover, and this is the vast majority of dog and cat rescues, who operate on an income of less than £5 million per year. So the vast majority of those of you watching this presentation will be able to receive our training free of charge. And anyone in any role in the dog or cat rescue can access our training. It's not limited to particular people working within the sector. Anyone working within animal rescue can access it. And we have a detailed prospectus setting out the details of every single course that we run, providing the aims and objectives of those courses and giving you a guide to who they're most appropriate for. So do, when you download this presentation, click through on the link that I provided there. And we really hope to see you soon on one of our training courses, either face-to-face at our London site or perhaps on our online portal, which the details are here. There's a QR code there, so you could, if you wanted to, scan that through on your phone now, and then you would be able to register to our Academy online and gain access and explore the different resources that are available to you there. So look forward to seeing you soon, either online or face-to-face at our London site. I'm now going to move on to our grant and programmes work, which we launched at the same time as our Academy in a very small scale way, actually. But since that time, we've become one of the largest funders in the UK for animal welfare work, both in the UK and around the world. And in 2023, we will be grant making around £6 million to organisations that want to develop their work in one way or another. We've got a particular focus at the moment on our focus countries, and I'll talk about those in a second, but our biggest programmes at the moment are in Thailand and Greece, but we're looking to move elsewhere once those opportunities emerge during the current year. And our approach to grant making is that we provide strategic funding and support opportunities to organisations within the animal welfare sector. We seek to advance change and work in a very systemic way rather than trying to meet immediate need. And we support organisations, not just their project, embracing short and long-term commitments. And many of the grants that we've made are capacity building grants to help organisations scale up to reach their goals to help more dogs and cats. And we recognise the agency, power and knowledge on the ground. We know that you're the experts in your context, in your country, and we would never try to impose our views and thoughts on that. And we're supporting lots of different types of organisations, not just rescues, and learning how to have impact together as a sector, which, as I mentioned earlier on, we believe that working together is far stronger than working individually. And we've got country-based strategies that help determine how we can have the most impact for dogs and cats. And our current focus countries I've listed there are Greece, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and the UK. We've got two particular funds that I thought you might like to hear about that are relevant to dog and cat shelters, whether they're in the UK or around the world. Our country programmes are for those focus countries that I mentioned on the previous slide, and they are to support organisations in each focus country who collaborate and work strategically to make change for dogs and or cats. And we want to support partners to design and deliver locally led work on the ground that contributes to theirs and our strategic objectives. And this includes supporting dog or cat rescue organisations to operate more professionally, ethically, sustainably, and collaboratively. As we know, this is the key to a sustained reduction in abandonment, relinquishment, and stray and roaming populations. And then the second programme that we offer, and this is a brand new programme, is our learning exchange programme. And this is to advance change by encouraging collaboration and learning globally between rescues, not just rescues, but government ministries and perhaps municipalities and other organisations that have got a stake in dog and cat welfare. And through this programme, we want to encourage knowledge sharing, multi-directional learning, as we think that innovative approaches to dog and cat welfare can originate from anywhere, and that includes low resource settings. And this programme aims to support diverse and dispersed people working within dog and cat welfare to learn from one another and build connections and collaborations that we hope will continue beyond the exchange itself. And we'll fund up to £4,000 towards the costs of one or two members of an organisation. And as I say, not just rescues, that could be municipalities or ministries, to spend a week at a host organisation anywhere in the world. So they're just two of the funds that we have available. You can find more on our website. And just to summarise really what I've covered, that we've got our academy, which provides quality training to those working and volunteering in dog and cat shelters. We want to help rescues that have limited resources covered, and we cover the costs of that training through our bursary scheme. And you can see the link to our academy there. And secondly, providing grants that advance change for dogs and cats in whatever way that is, and helping dogs and cats that we as an organisation as Battersea will never meet directly. And again, the link is there for you to follow to find more about our grants programmes. And we look forward to seeing you on either our academy or grants programmes very soon. So thank you for listening to me. I hope that's been really helpful. I provided my email contact there for if you want to find out more. And as I say, please feel free to get in touch. Look forward to hearing from you. And thank you for listening.